Hello and welcome back to SIt Down Sagas, our one-on-one interview show here on the Checkfortraps channel. This show is where I get to sit down with a member of the community and talk about their journey through the game, through the community, through all the different aspects of Magic the Gathering. On today's episode, we have the wonderful Adam the Gathering, or as Jimmy Wong once said, the first, or as most people think, an AI program, not really a human. We will be discussing that and many more things in this episode with Adam. It was an absolute pleasure sitting down with him. So let's cut all the waiting around and jump straight into the interview.
I'm Adam the Gathering, or currently known as like AI the Gathering, thanks to a lot of drama on the internet with recent things. General all-round Magic the Gathering content creator, to be fair. Currently hosting on Mox UK, the YouTube channel, where I take people around LGSs in the UK and sort of do event vlogs of things like Magicons and Command Fests, and basically like try and show what it's like to visit a city and go play Magic there. Really is my thing at the moment.
Nice.
Outside of Magic, I'm a music producer. I do a bit of teaching as well in music production on the side as well.
Right.
So like most content creators, full-time job and content creation, and trying to make time for it all.
You got to do a bit of both, and never sleep, because that's part of
and constantly try and schedule things and then never stick to them ever.
Schedule is the bane of anyone in content's life. Awesome, thank you very much for introducing yourself. So the premise of the show, of this little interview, is to kind of talk through your experience within Magic the Gathering, from starting to where you are to where you go. So I want to talk about your start in Magic, as we do with this show. For those that have watched, this is like, another episode, so people know the premise now. But I don't want to talk about, I do want to talk about when you got into Magic, but before that, I want to take a step further back. What's your first memory of Magic the Gathering being a thing that exists in this universe?
It's funny because it's one of those things where I've known of it, like I've heard of it for a long time as a teenager and in my early 20s, and it's like I don't know what it is. I know it's a nerdy thing, and I'll probably like it if I try it, because the people who I know who talk about it are my kind of people. But I first sort of experience of seeing what it is as like a card game, which also surprised me. It's one of those things where I knew so little about it. When I saw it was a card game, I was like, oh wait, I thought it was like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm trying to think when it was. I was at a party at a friend's house, and his younger brother had friends around as well, and they just disappeared halfway through, and I found them in the dining room all drunkenly playing this card game. Okay. And they told me, look, this is Magic the Gathering, and I was like, right, cool, I love the art, I have no idea what's going on, I'm going back to the party in the other room.
Okay.
But that's probably late teens when that happened. And then didn't see it again, really. Okay. Other than that, it was obviously just something I had heard of but wasn't really interested in until maybe mid-20s, when my brother-in-law just happened to mention it was something that they play on a Friday, and I was like, after a busy week, you're going in playing this card game. That sounds interesting. And after a long time, was just trying to get me into playing this game. It was like, you should come along, check it out, it's good fun. You buy cards, you trade cards, they have a value to them, and I'm like, right, okay, it's fantasy, and I'm just like, okay, I just slowly get reeled in. And then eventually caved in and gave it a go, and now look at me.
Now you're Adam the Gathering, as Jimmy Wong says, the first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you definitely had a big gap from when you first it's a thing to I'm now playing it. Okay.
Yeah, big time. I'd say the space between finding out about it and seeing people play it as a teen, obviously I've gone to uni and had a career, like I'd say probably a good 10 years between between sort of seeing it to actually giving it a go myself.
Okay. When you did get into it, do you remember what set was out at the time?
So I started playing just on the back end of Dominaria.
Okay.
So some people consider that like fairly recent. It's like 5 years ago now. So I think I'm now considering myself a bit of a veteran in terms of content creation. But I think in reality with Magic, it's still pretty new.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I started a lot later than that. I started around like so I knew about it from like 2019 core set because I was playing D&D and role playing games and stuff, and I saw like next to Dungeons and Dragons stuff on the shelf in the store, Magic stuff, and I bought like a core bundle. I don't know if they were still called fat packs at the time, but it was a M19 core set. I bought that and I looked at the cards like, oh, these are cool. Okay, on the shelf, bye. And then went to Magic, and then I didn't start playing until like Crimson Vow.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's when I properly got into it. Then I don't even know why. I think I'd watched a video on YouTube and saw people playing it, and I was like, oh, that's what it is. That looks interesting. Now I know what it is, and I've got some there. I'll work out how to play it, and start buying from there. But yeah,
brilliant.
Okay, so yeah, so you've been playing longer than me, so I look at you as a veteran.
I like it. I really like chatting to players and then seeing if they consider you as being like in it for a while or being a newbie, because everyone's just like you can generally tell by the language that they use when they're talking about Magic as well.
Yeah, because when you said you started like just after Dominaria, my first thought was, oh, United. No, it was a Dominaria before then.
Actual Dominaria, and then like what was that set after that? Was Ravnica, like the Ravnica Allegiance and the I can't forget what the other one was called. The two back-to-back ones with the War of the Spark afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Those
ones.
Those ones. Back there. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew about it when you was a young teen, ignored it for your career, and started playing. What did you start? So here's the question: what format did you play when you first started? Did you jump into Standard, Modern, Commander? What was the format at the time?
I actually started with Commander.
Oh, okay.
So my brother-in-law who was exclusively Commander with his play group on a Friday, and was like, "Come along, it's complicated, but we'll just show you the ropes." And like you said, I watched the video. It was like a how to play. It was Becca Scott teaching you how to play how to play Magic. So I learned like the basics from that and just turned up and had like maybe 3-4 hours of just having my butt handed to me without knowing what the hell is going on, and I had a great time.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was just like really just thrown in the thick of it. Brother-in-law had made me a Commander deck. It was like a devoid Eldrazi deck.
Okay, nice.
Way back then, which was like just from stuff he had. Yeah. So like they're like, here's a little teaser, like a little gateway deck to get me in. And then it wasn't long. I think I started to go pretty much every Friday from the beginning. And yeah, it wasn't long before I was buying precons and starting to have a go building my own. Yeah. I say building my own. I copying lists off EDHREC basically.
Yeah. That's how most people start. Is like, we'll look at this. We'll either get a precon, or we'll look at what someone else did and try and do the same at a reasonable price.
Exactly. Like anything creative, you start by imitation.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, nice. Okay, so that kind of gives us a nice picture of how you got into Magic, and you've kind of jumped in head first from there. You are Magic the Gathering, you know. You do content creation now, and you're doing really cool videos on Mox UK. I would say you're well rooted in the Magic community at this point. Again, you've been in the adverts. Like, how are you not? But
some days I feel like I am. Some days I feel like I'm completely on the outside. So it depends on the day of the week.
I mean, we say you've been in the adverts. We're still waiting on proof of that because there is the rumor that you are AI. So was that really you or not?
It was just my likeness that I signed away.
But yeah, you're definitely within the community in a heavy and positive way. Since you kind of started content creation and jumped in, and you are where you are now, how have you found the community, and like what how have you found like your experience within the community at this point, especially going from a Friday Night Magic player who played with a small group of friends and just went to local LGSs and stuff, and now you're in this content creation space, you're in this this sphere that Magic the Gathering has become, because it has I feel it's had a big boom of late, and it's great to see, especially within the content creation space and the accessibility of content that's out there for Magic. What are your thoughts? How do you find it? What's have you got any likes and dislikes with what you've experienced so far?
I mean, I love this question because it's like it's the community that I enjoy the most. I enjoy playing with people more than I enjoy playing the game, if that makes sense. And it's been like, if I had to just sum it up, it's so welcoming as a community. Everyone, whether you're content creation or not, if you're a Magic player online, that everyone is so friendly and helpful and just sort of interested in you and what you do. And like, I've made genuine friendships. I've lost count actually of how many friends I've made on the internet and then like met in person several years down the line, which is bizarre. But yeah, the community itself, obviously there's areas that are terrible, like any community. There are corners, dark, dingy, damp corners where
always damp
where all the negativity lives. But generally speaking, everyone has been wonderful. I started off just by posting pictures on Instagram. I was following pages and thought, this is a cool card I pulled, I'll put it on an Instagram page. And then immediately had other content creators just being like, oh, welcome to the community, like, oh, how you doing, what do you do, how long have you been playing, blah 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 blah. And it was just like immediately drew me in. So I kind of just sort of fell into doing the content creation purely on that, rather than it being like an intention, like I'm gonna set out to do it. And from then it's just been really, really nice just to broaden your horizons as well with the sort of different people that you get to meet through the game.
Have you had any kind of standout highlight moments since starting the content creation, and like in this past couple of years of like content creation becoming quite a big part of the community? Have you had any moments or highlights that you've kind of been like, wow, that was interesting?
As in, like, for myself personally, things happen to me. There's so many things. One thing that always stands out to me, as like of recent, that made me really think, like, when you have the imposter syndrome, it's very easy to think I'm just chucking stuff into the ether and nothing's happening, and am I being taken serious and all this. But the thing that always jumps to my head as a really amazing memory for me was at the Command Fest last year. I was on the bill as a guest content creator, which was really cool. I felt really privileged to do that. That was really lovely. And I queued up to get some cards signed by John Avon. And then as I got to the booth, John goes, "Adam, you didn't need to queue, like, come on, dude." It was just I was like starstruck and just couldn't believe that he knew who I was. It was incredible. So it's really nice, like, to have that's the person who you hold on a high pedestal. It's like, they're the legitimate people. It's their actual job to do Magic stuff. I think looking back earlier, it would things like when I was just doing a little stream on Twitch to get started. I just reached out to Gavin to see if he'd come on, and he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So like having him on the stream, that was a really, really a big like affirmation. I think that's the wrong word. Confirmation.
Yeah.
of what I was doing and that. But yeah, I think that's the best memory off the top of my head. I used to do bits of sort of charity stuff as well, so it's been really nice to do like some charity events that I did in the past and raise a lot of money for like Trans Lifeline and cancer research and stuff like that. Those are the things that stick to me as a nice core memory for Magic.
Nice, that's very cool. Yeah, as if John Avon's like hey, like just knows you by name. That's great. He's going to be there as well.
We're best mates now.
He's going for drinks and stuff, popping around his house for a brew. Yeah, he's going to be at Command Fest again this year.
Yeah.
I was actually prepping earlier today a pile of stuff that I've got. Like, I'm going to get this signed when I go.
Nice. He's a really nice dude. Like when you sit down, he's signing all day, but he's still so eager to just chat, and it's really lovely to just sit down and have a conversation. You sit down and you think you're going to ask questions and you forget them all by the time you get there. But he will just keep the conversation going, and he's a really genuinely nice guy.
Sweet, nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Command Fest. It will be my first like Magic focused convention that I'll have been to.
Hell yeah.
Most of the other ones I've been to are always like just like tabletop and general focused.
Right.
So this will be my first Magic one, and then I'll be at Magic on Amsterdam as well.
Nice.
June. I'm excited for that. I'm there as a creator as well, so I'm like
awesome. Yes. We'll have to get a game in.
Hell yeah, definitely. But interesting, you mentioned Command Fest last year because it was your video that you did on Command Fest last year. That was how I found you. In terms of the content space. That's how I kind of like, I'd seen you around on socials, but it was when like that video popped up, I went and watched it, and that was like my first full interaction with your content. And it's a great video, by the way, really,
thank you.
Really good. Interestingly, this channel is sponsored by Voidborn, so shout out to Callum. Yeah, shout out to Callum, Voidborn. Use code checkfortraps10 for 10% off on stuff. But yeah, and like you did the video with her and everything, so yeah, it was really cool to see that, because that's how I got to know Voidborn, and then all comes full circle.
Yeah. The community is so much smaller than you realise. Everyone just ends up knowing each other.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. So basically, all around, you've had a positive experience.
Oh, absolutely.
With some very amazing moments, shall we say. John Avon calling your name, like, hey, I'm impressed with that. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to move on to some hard-hitting questions.
Far away.
I asked these to everyone, and I will say what you say now is set in stone and cannot be changed moving forward.
No pressure then.
No pressure. So with that, what is your favorite color or color pairing within Magic the Gathering?
I am die-hard red.
Okay.
I am a red player. I love mono red. When it comes to pairings, I flip-flop monthly, I think, between Izzet and Rakdos.
Okay.
Red with a bit of black or red with a bit of blue. I'm down. Like, I am a spell slinger at heart, and I'm also I love a chaotic deck too. So depending on the flavor of the month, I'm on either of those.
Okay, interesting. I'm known to be a mono black player.
Nice.
Infect is just my fave. People dislike Infect.
Not so nice.
My least played color is red. So interesting, you're a die-hard red fan, but I have started dabbling. I do have a Rakdos deck. I'm using the new Rakdos Patron of Chaos.
Nice.
It was fun. I've built it. It is my jank Rakdos, like everything goes wrong deck. But yeah, it's a fun one. I play it and I throw out Havoc Festival and Sire of Insanity and just have fun.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. What is it about red? Like you say, you like being a spell slinger.
I like mono red aggro specifically. If we're talking about just like the color pairing, I enjoy just slinging damage down left, right, and center, and just like I be careful how I word this. I'm not a control player. It's not like I have anything against control players, but I just don't vibe with the game plan of it. So being the absolute opposite side of the spectrum and being very anti-control is just what I like to do. So even if when I'm talking mono red, I'm usually talking 1v1, so like modern or historic or whatever the standard. Even if I'm playing it in a multiplayer format, I feel like my role at the table is to aggravate whoever's stacks in the board. Like that's what I like to do. I like to just sling cards. I like to empty my hand out on turn 3 and then just let top deck take me to the win or to the loss.
Okay, I get that. Like, yeah, there's again, like, it's Magic the Gathering. There are 1,000,001 ways you can play it, but yeah, I guess you kind of look at the core premise of it is like, I need to damage you, and red is the one that does that. Like, there's no like meta game plot with red. It's just hit hard and fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm either going to win or die in 20 minutes, and then I'm going to the bar.
yeah, mono red's perfect for that. Okay. Now we know you play Commander. I know you started with Commander. Would you say Commander's the main format you play? I know you enjoy a good draft, a good pre-release draft. But you would say Commander's probably your main.
Yeah, absolutely. Commander is my bread and butter completely. Yeah. I enjoy the draft. Kind of scratches that competitive itch I get every now and then, and like I dabbled in Modern a little bit to try that side out because I quite like when you've learned in the sort of friendly, we're all having a game. It's not serious. Yeah, it's multiplayer. Like sometimes you like want to see what the other side of the table is like. But whenever I'm getting together with friends, it's always Commander.
Yeah, okay. So now this is going to be a really easy question for you, because you've done a video on this. But I'm going to, rather than ask the specific, I'm going to say, do you have a favourite couple of commanders? I'm just going to say favourite commander because we know who that is. You've done an entire video on that. But do you have a favourite like couple that you cycle through?
Absolutely. So, like the video, Kenrith the Returned King is my absolute favourite card of all time. If they ever ban it, I might quit Magic. I've got the original buy a box promo version. I've got the serialized newer version, and as of yesterday, shout out Mr. Bevers, Canadian content creator. He'd sent me, without me knowing, an artist proof of the newest, of the most recent Kenrith. So now I'm just like collecting them all. So I'm very, very happy with that. But I like that you've asked outside of Kenrith who do I like, because that's much more interesting. Big favourites for me, hands down, are Niv Mizzet.
Okay.
Like spell slinging. The love for Izzet came from one of my original decks being a Niv Mizzet deck. I really like Riff, the Awakener. It's my go-to tokens deck. I wanted to build a tokens deck, and it was the only time I've ever built a commander deck where I've built the deck first and then looked for a commander. And when I found Riff, I was like, it's as if I've just designed it for my deck. Like it's spot on what I need. So that has gradually grown to be one of my favorite decks to play. It's just really nice to chuck down a really, really wide board and then just do some crazy stuff with it all. Outside of that, what else am I enjoying? I'm just going to use my pile up here for reference. That top one's Riff, this one's Kenrith, and then this one is actually Garuda Clones, which is a deck from the much greater commander mind than mine, the Commander Mechanic. I don't know if you've seen his YouTube videos where he does excellent commander videos. Yeah. But it's Garuda as the commander, and then all the cards, almost all the creatures are clones. So you're looking to just keep cloning Garuda and milling everyone and yourself. And I have milled myself out with it 99% of the games I've played with it, without a win con on board.
Interesting.
But it's super fun. It's just silly. It's just really silly. It's great.
Okay, nice. Okay, I have another question that I ask in this little series, but I'm going to ask something completely off script, completely different, purely because you mentioned something, and it's actually something I'm interested in learning. You mentioned how normally you would have a commander and then build a deck around that. Is that how you would normally? So is that how you would normally build commander decks? Is that your kind of methodology you go for?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything other than Riff has been, here's a really cool commander I like. Right, how do I put a pile together that will go with this theme? Okay. Like at the moment, sat on my desk in front of me, I've got Judith, the most recent one with the crazy lifelink and Death Touch and all that. And then I've just got like a stack of cards that will hopefully end up in a deck. I like to pick a commander and then go from there. Okay, really
interesting. Okay, see what I find that interesting because I know a lot of people that do it that way, but I would say the vast majority of my decks now, I've done it the complete opposite. I've thought, oh, this would be a cool idea. I've seen this card, that card, that card, that card, that kind of work with that. Built a deck around like a theme or an idea, and then looked for a commander that complements that.
Nice. I think even though I don't do it that way, I think that's the better way to do it, because then you know that the deck is going to function regardless of the commander being on the board, which I think a lot of the times when you build from the commander, if it's removed, often your game plan is that's thrown out the window.
Kind of the reason I do it. Like, I look for a commander that complements the deck, so that when I play the commander, it's like it bumps it, but it's not the main like focus. Which is why I'm currently struggling with the deck I'm building at the minute. Because I have a theme. I'm doing a Shire Halud deck, which is my Dune one, which is I'm going Golgari Worms is my plan.
Golgari Worms.
Yes. So it's my hope is that it's going to be mostly worms and a few elves. The elves being the Fremen, and then I've got my sandworms with everything else. But
brilliant.
Like, I've got a cool idea. There's a lot of like token generation going on in there, and making more worms and worms and worms. But I'm like, I haven't found a commander yet that complements it the best, and I think it's going to have to be an elf. But I need like the right Golgari elf to do it.
You might get lucky with the Outlaws of Thunder Junction previews.
Hopefully. I mean, there is that tumbleweed looking worm, the 4-mana 5/6. So I think that's going to have to go in.
Definitely. Is that I think it has flash as long as you control the desert, which is, I think that's one thing we're doing as well.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be a fun one.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're a commander first. Everything else second.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Primarily.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to add that. Like, for those watching, we now have a new question on the show, because I think that's an interesting thing to add. But yeah, keeping the show going, keeping the conversation going. Again, hard-hitting questions. I will take your first answers as concrete and set in stone forever. We'll post them on Twitter and everything, so everyone can link back to those. We'll pin it. Top 3 favorite cards of all time.
God, this is such a difficult question. Top 3 favorite cards. I'll go with. I'll rule out commanders. I won't say any commanders, because that's easy to do. I love Goblin Chainwhirler. Going back to my love for mono red, Goblin Chainwhirler comes down and does 1 damage to every creature on the board, and there is nothing more satisfying than wiping an entire board of 1/1 with a Goblin Chainwhirler. I loved playing that in Historic on Arena. It was the only thing that keeping me going with that format, was getting to slam one of those down on table. But yeah, that's one of my favorite creatures, easily. Funny enough, I don't have it in a commander deck though, so maybe I need to add it.
Well, there we go. Yeah. Interesting.
What else do I love? I'm a big fan of like chaos and like random outcomes. So I like cards like I love Itali. The original Itali. So when you attack, everyone flips top card of their library, and you can play cards from there for free. Like, that is just random stuff off people's deck. I love how much it can make you a target when you're not necessarily doing anything interesting. You're just sort of stealing people's cards, and just like sometimes when you get that one in a sort of couple of games situation where suddenly you flip something nuts and it comes down when no one's expecting it. Like, I love that random element to it. It's just exciting. I like a roll of the dice.
Yeah. Okay.
What would be my third? I hope you're not going to ask me to rank these 1, 2, and 3, because there's actually no way I can best do it. I suppose off that same basis, I would have to say Villainous Wealth, where you're paying X mana and again just stealing cards from tops of people's libraries. I really like seeing people's decks, so playing cards that let me play your decks is why I rank at the top.
Okay. Yeah, so you like to deal lots of fast damage and steal.
Yeah.
You sound like
I think I need that on a t-shirt.
Just with the mono red flame in the background.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. It's not bad. That's an interesting top 3.
I should have just said mountain.
Yeah. Just a basic mountains. No specific set. Unless it's a John Avon, then you've got reason behind that because you know bezies and everything. Oh, I like that top 3. I think if you were to play that goblin, you would hate playing against my Toxrill deck because I'm happy for you to kill all my 1/1s because that's good for me.
I used to have a Toxrill deck as well, and it's just you feel so evil playing it, but you get such joy out of that villainy.
It just takes so long to get Toxrill out.
Yeah, it's true.
That's 7 mana cost. Yeah.
Jeweled Lotus will get us there.
True. Then you've either got to pull a Jeweled Lotus or pay for a Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, that's true. Or Rakdos it and steal. No, I mean, absolutely don't condone.
Yeah, Toxrill's fun. I just like anything with black in, then it's a fun deck for me.
I really love Crick. I've got my mono black commander deck is Crick, and I love just burning through my life to try and get that out. It's super fun.
Yeah, I think Crick's one of the, like, I remember watching a video and it was like, oh, what's like in CEDH or something, what's the most played commander, and it was Crick.
Really?
I think so. It was either just in general EDH or CDH, but I think it was one of the most played commanders purely because of that specific thing that you can burn through life as a resource. Which is,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and you throw a load of like life gain in there as well, and then like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's really good as well because one of my my fundamental like play plans when I'm playing Magic is to try and lose life early because it makes you seem like you're not the threat. So that's why I love Shocklands. Like, even if I don't need the mana that turn, I'll always pay to bring it in untapped. So then I'm suddenly on 38 and everyone's like, I'm not attacking him, he's not on the most life. So like with Crick, you can take yourself down to like 14 and everyone's like, oh, this guy's down and out. Well, like, leave him be, and then all of a sudden you're gaining like 40 back.
I've definitely done stuff like that because I'm one of those people that runs Shoulder of the Apocalypse as a commander.
Hell yeah.
Again, until it gets banned, and then I'll cry. But I run that, and it's like, I know I'm playing Shieldred, I'm going to be targeted because it's Shieldred. Like,
right.
It makes sense. It's what happens. But I let myself get targeted until I get super low, and then I play what would really be like a player kill card, which is peer into the Abyss. So draw half your library, lose half your life rounded up. Normally you play that on someone else with Shieldred out, and they do all that, and then Shieldred deals a 2 damage for everything. But I play it and target myself.
Brilliant. Nice, okay.
Because I draw half my deck, lose half my life, but because of Shieldred, I get 2 life for every one of those cards I've drawn. And I suddenly go from like 12 to like 50, 60 odd life straight away. And I'm like, okay, I now have everything. Perfect. Everything to play. And then again, you just go Infect all the way, and everyone hates you.
Love it. I mean, I like Infect I joke about it, but I think it's generally a sweet mechanic, and it gets more hate than it deserves.
It does. Everyone's like, oh, it should go up from 10 to 20 or something. No, leave it at 10 because if you're playing Infect and you get someone to 9 Infect, everyone else is going to target you. So it balances itself through that.
And people who say they hate Infect, they don't hate Infect. They just hate the last player they played against that played it because they played it wrong. Like, if you play Infect and you just equally dish it out, so everyone's nearing 10 at the same time, it's perfect. But if you just take one person out and then we sit for another hour, then I get it.
Exactly.
It requires the right pilot, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, you build everyone up and then you just proliferate until everyone's gone.
Yeah.
I do. I'm a fan of Infect.
It's
a fun mechanic, especially when you can do things with Infect that people don't see coming, like cheat out Merit Lage using Thespian Stage, which is just a standard mechanic these days. But then you enchant it with Glistening Oil and give that Merit Lage Infect. no one sees it coming. And it's just so fun. I've managed to do it once in a game, and it was great. And then I got completely destroyed by everyone else the turn after, without having the chance to hit with Merit Leech. That was a bit good. So, moving forward in time, I kind of we've looked at your where you started, where you are now. You know, your experience within the community, kind of your favorite cards, colors, gameplay, kind of ideas and tactics and stuff. But looking forward to the future of Magic and the future of yourself within Magic. You know, as a person within Magic, be that a player, content creator, anything, kind of where do you see the path laid before you? Where do you see yourself going with Magic?
It's always really hard to work that one out. It's something I think about a lot. I like to try and plan ahead a bit with like, where's my life going to go on the outside of Magic, and how does it pair with what I'm doing? My aim is definitely I'm focused on the YouTube channel. I'm trying to basically create a nice little guide to visiting stores and stuff across the UK. So if I want to develop that further, and looking to implement more videos in, like the Kenriff video I did. Like, I really enjoyed doing the deck text, but more of a like, here's my deck, here's how I play it, like here's the story behind it. So more videos basically for the future. I really am aiming to get to one of the US conventions in the next year or two. I think that's the next big step for me, is to get across the pond and visit one of those and see how it differs, I think, to one of ours, because that's I think what interests me the most.
Yeah, because obviously we have Command Fests, which are like the smaller tier, as it were, conventions, but then we do have MagicCon Amsterdam this year. We had Barcelona last year, and you were at Barcelona last year.
Yes,
and are you going to be at Amsterdam this year?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
So we'll both be there. So there's something we could probably come back to after maybe, and see, because it's looking like it's going to be a big one. It's almost sold out. Like there isn't much left in terms of tickets. So it's going to be a big event. It'd be interesting, to see how that goes, and then look at the US ones, because I know Chicago, which we've just had, was a big one. And then Vegas is usually, I feel like Vegas is probably the biggest.
Vegas is like the one, isn't it? That's definitely, if I can go to one, that's the one I'd love to do.
Yeah, same. So it would be interesting to get that kind of US versus rest of the world perspective, in terms of how they do the conventions, or at least the scale of what goes on at them. Yeah,
exactly.
But
I think outside of that, like content creation wise, I'm really just open to seeing where it goes. Like I don't like to be too focused on, like, I want to be achieving this by this time, and like, if I'm not doing that, I'm doing a bad job. I'd rather just say, like, let's go with the flow. Someone messages me with a content idea, and I'm down and I'm interested in it, and like, I'll go and do that, and it might be something that just takes me off on a completely different direction.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, you've got your LGS series that you're doing. Is the plan to visit every LGS in the country, or?
I'd like to say yes. It's difficult to sort of plan ahead and budget for as well. It's no small task to get there, do stuff. My editor Pete is awesome, but he's doing it as like on the side of his full-time job as well. So like budgeting to pay for the editing every month as well is another big deal. But I've got some good ones lined up. I've been really proactive this year and kind of planned ahead. So
nice.
Last year it was like every month I'm like, oh my god, I need a video for this month. Where can I go? So that's why it's all like Essex and London. Like, it's easier to do ones within your immediate vicinity. But now I've got one coming up in Norwich. I should be going to do Brighton soon as well. I'm aiming to get up to sort of Leeds, Sheffield way later in the year as well. And hopefully over to Wales. So it's just an excuse for me to go gallivanting around and play Magic with other people.
No, it's a good excuse. I mean, hey, why not?
It's all a big elaborate scheme.
So that's kind of like, yeah, okay. So that's some ideas you have for your content creation and where you go in that. As a Magic player, you know, where do you see yourself going? Like, you know, your main format is Commander, but you've mentioned like Modern and Historic as something you used to dabble when you wanted to get into that kind of competitive side. And obviously drafts during pre-releases and stuff like that. Is there anything, you know, as a player you kind of want to like look towards as you move forward? Do you want to experience, or do you want to kind of test out other formats or other playstyles, or even other TCGs?
That's a great question. I do like I'm open to trying different formats. I would really like to have a go at some of the things that I haven't done, like Pauper and Legacy, and maybe things like even like I've done Cube and I've done CDH, but only like once or twice. So a bit more of that would be fun. For me at the moment, it's more a case of like getting back into playing it as much as I was. Like we were saying off camera, I have a 1-year-old, and so like being able to do like Friday Night Magic is a rarity for me at the moment. So busy to be able to like just go and regularly play. So getting back to like regularly playing with the play group, and even like Spell Table. I can't remember the last time I played on Spell Table, and I used to be doing it like twice a week.
See, we have a show on the channel called Man and Maelstrom. It's a casual Spell Table game. You know,
and it's UK time. Sign me up.
Exactly. You know.
So yeah, I'd love to play as much as I was. Obviously, I'm realistic with it. I play as and when I can.
Yeah.
Which is also like why the videos are handy, because it gives me a reason to go and play. But in terms of other TCGs, I'm open to it. There's not many that pique my interest as much, because I think Magic is such a top tier. Like to me, Magic is like the pinnacle of card games. So you look at others and I'm like, it's interesting, but is it as good as this? If I'm already playing the one that I find the most interesting, is it worth my time? Saying that, I did really like Lorcana when it came out, and I do have a couple of Lorcana like decks, and would love to play that a bit more as well. I think because it's so different or so far afield from Magic, it's very clearly like, here's a Disney card game. It's not like, here's a card game that is basically replicating Magic but with different pictures. It's actually doing its own thing, so I quite enjoy it.
Okay, nice. I've actually got one of the Lorcana starter decks, and I bought like a couple of boosters for that. I've opened it, I have looked at them, I've gone, cool. There you go.
It's really fun. It's fun to play as a Magic player, because you have your idea of how to play a card game, and then the more you play it, like, oh, this is completely different. the play styles and stuff. It's really fun to work out, and like it's like learning another language.
Okay, yeah. So that's I think that's why I've only played, in terms of TCGs, Magic so far, because I'm going to look at another game and go, okay, where's the mana I tap? Like, what do I do? Like,
go to my main phase. It's like there's no main phase in this.
It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! I've watched people play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I still have no clue what is going on in that game. You know, I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards because I bought some just to see what they look like and what they do. Nice. And I was like, there is a lot of text on here, and it's so small I cannot read it. Never mind.
All I know is you play Pot of Greed and you win. That's what I know.
Yeah. Blue Eyes White Dragon, that happens.
Yeah.
Or like it's a 2-player game but only one person plays. That's what I hear a lot as well.
You might not get a turn one, but
yeah. It's like, interesting. That's like, you're gonna pay a lot of money for a deck and sit there and watch someone else play and then go home.
Hey, whatever people are into.
Okay. So, 2024, April. There are several sets coming out this year. I say several, meaning there are a ton of sets coming out this year. As is the current projection. You know, over these next couple of months, is there anything you're specifically looking forward to? Be that in the newest set to come out now, or something that's obviously been somewhat announced to come in later this year. You know, is there anything in Magic that you're looking forward to?
I think like it's easy to speculate, but I think the sets that have been announced and the themes, I'm actually think it's gonna be a really exciting year and just some fun stuff coming out. The Thunder Junction stuff looks really cool. We've at a point of film we've just started to see some previews properly. And I love the theme. I love the card frames. I'm not sure yet how I feel about the whole like crimes thing, where it's like targeting stuff as classed as a crime, because it's like it's going to be interesting to keep track of and remember and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Bloomburrow stuff, like the animal stuff looks fun. I don't know how invested I'll be with it, with like the cutesy stuff, but I think it is quite cool.
Yeah.
The main one I'm excited for is going to probably be Modern Horizons 3. I've just loved the first two, so if things carry on, I'm assuming it's just going to be as good as the others, and then I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'd agree there. Like, I have two key sets this year that I'm looking forward to. Number one, Modern Horizons 3. Weirdly, again, Commander player, don't play Modern, but I'm looking forward to a Modern set because the past two Modern sets have had such good stuff in there that has worked in Commander that I'm excited for that. Yes, they're selling Commander precons with a Modern set, which, you know, has its own whatever's going on there.
Yeah, a whole other discussion.
Yeah, but there is an Eldrazi one, and I am an Eldrazi fan, so
nice.
I know where my money's going. But the set itself is going to have, from the looks of it, a lot of Eldrazi stuff in there, which is exciting.
Yeah, nice.
And a new Emrakul, you know.
Just in time for Amsterdam as well.
Yes. I can't wait. But then the other one is Duskmorn, the 70s 80s slasher themed
god, that's going to be
house.
You know, the alt art's going to be absolutely sick.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be very, again, like Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, we had SIt Down Sagas with Chase from Anna Curve, who's a massive horror fan. We were talking about the set there, and the whole set. You know, Amityville Horror will play like a key film inspiration for the set. You know, I'm looking forward to that because as a horror fan, like any set that's based around horror and stuff like that, I'm down for. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that set works and what sort of new mechanics they bring out to sprinkle that slasher movie flavor onto it.
If the fear mechanic doesn't return, I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, you know, they might bring it back, but rename it.
Yeah, true.
Did that in Markov manner. So we'll see. But yeah,
this has got the heebie-jeebie mechanic.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, Modern Horizons, like you say, the past two have just been great sets. Even if you just use them for utility, there's been some great stuff in there. So I'm looking forward to that set. Outside of sets, you know, in terms of just the Magic community and the things going on, you know, is there anything you know of that's coming out in the coming months that you're looking forward to as well?
Oh, good question. Not that I can think off the top of my head. I'm really enjoying like just the current wave of content. Like everyone's bringing out new shows, new this, new that, and it's like pushing the boundaries of what is Magic content creation. So that's what I'm just like really into at the moment. It's just soaking up everyone's content because there's a real like, especially the UK, and not to be like biased, but there's a lot of like helping each other out and like everyone's bettering each other's content and stuff. So it's been such a growth this year. I'm really excited to see last year. I'm really excited to see where this year takes everybody, because it's just nice to see your friends do well. Yeah,
definitely. I do see that. Again, I came from like tabletop content creation and role-playing games and stuff, and again you see that divide, you know, that Atlantic Ocean divide in terms of content as well with the US and the UK. And since joining the Magic side, you know, and delving in and being part of the UK kind of content creation side, it is nice, you know, again, biased because we're over here and not over there. But again, we know everyone who's over there and we love everyone on the other side of the ocean. But it's nice to see, like in the local, that everyone is pushing each other, and you know, there are groups out there for content creators in, you know, over here to link up with and to work with each other and to help each other out. And it is nice to see that, and it's nice to be welcomed into that as well. Yeah,
it's cool. It's just taken us a little bit longer to like come together as a community over here, I think, in terms of things. And it's nice to like, you could get me on this topic for absolutely hours, but it's nice to see people just focusing. Everyone's focused on their own stuff, and it's like occasionally you see people complaining about like, US get this, US get that, we don't, blah blah blah. And it's like, who cares about the politics of it or how the situation? Just focus on your content. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
Exactly. And today we're making content about playing with pieces of cardboard. Like
exactly.
just focus on the cardboard. There's enough politics in the world. We the only sort of politics we want is at a commander table when I'm trying not to die.
Yeah, when I'm trying to convince you to keep me around.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, with that being kind of my last kind of focused question, I just want to say thank you very much for joining me and for taking the time out to jump on. Yeah, hopefully those watching at home, we will be able to steal Adam for a bit of time to play on Man of Maelstrom and play some Commander with us.
Sounds good to me.
When you're available. But, you know, not that everyone doesn't know who you are and where they can find you and what you're up to. By all means, please take this moment to let everyone know again who you are, where they can find you, and what you're up to.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm Adam the Gathering. I am the host of Mox UK, so if you want to find my content, Mox UK on YouTube is the place to go. Videos of me taking you around LGSs in the UK, showing you what they have to offer, what the vibe's like, and generally just sharing some love on LGSs. In terms of finding me online, I'm absolutely awkward because it's never spelled the same anywhere. So you can find me as Adam the Gathering without the G on the end on Twitter. But yours is too many letters long, which is wonderful. And adam.the.gathering or on Instagram. But yeah, search for Magic AI Creator and you'll probably find me getting abuse in the comment sections on Wizard videos.
It's just people checking how many fingers you have in the video. That's the main thing.
Yeah. I love it. I've been leaning into it now because it's just so silly. It's so funny. Someone was calling me Adam GPT the other day, which was hilarious.
You'll have to release a video where it's you just glitching. Just like there's nothing wrong with it.
Just edit an extra finger on, like you said.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, we will wrap up the video. Again, thank you very, very much for joining us. For those watching at home, do the things like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. Check out the channel sponsors. We have Voidborn, who both myself and Adam know well, makers of amazing tokens, proxies, playmats, merchandise, the lot. Go check them out. There's a discount code in the chat. Go play Magic, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.